What if the most unsettling strength is the kind that never announces itself? Could a woman who favors stillness over spectacle be quietly steering the room without anyone noticing? Why do certain women unsettle the loudest voices simply by refusing to perform? And what hidden disciplines let them keep their center while the world trades depth for display? If presence were measured by clarity rather than volume, how differently would we read the women who move like dusk and tide, seen fully only by those willing to slow down and pay attention? Welcome to time-tested advice, where ancient philosophy meets the modern world. I'm your host, Alfred. Let's get started. 1. The art of invisible withdrawal. When respect thins or alignment frays, she doesn't debate, dramatize, or demand a hearing. She quietly closes the gate and reclaims her oxygen, leaving behind no smoke trail to chase and no handle to grab. The absence is unnerving precisely because it is clean. No counter-accusations, no theatrical exit. Only a silence that forces others to face the mirror without a sparring partner. This is not punishment, it is preservation, an unspoken thesis that peace is not a team sport, and boundaries don't require witnesses to be real. What terrifies is the finality, the way the door that shuts does not creak again. 2. Speaking in silence. She practices communicative restraint the way a master archer practices breath, letting quiet elongate until truths float up on their own. She does not sprint for the first word or the last word. She selects the right word, and it lands like a stone in still water. 1 ring, 10 rings, a whole surface changed. Those addicted to noise feel seen without consent, because her calm gaze keeps time while performative certainty unravels itself. In conflict, she edits, trims, and refuses the bait, trusting a well-placed pause more than a volley of explanations. The quiet is not avoidance, it is governance. 3. A fortress of few. She curates proximity as if it were a sacred resource, not a public commodity. 3 steady souls outvalue 30 warm bodies. Entry is granted through patience, congruence, and a proven quiet, not charisma, not title, not lineage. The walls do not announce themselves. You simply notice that your rush cannot breach them, and your charm finds no latch. Inside the garden, the rules are simple. Bring peace, bring honesty, bring self-responsibility. Those who come to siphon, stir, or borrow identity are walked back to the outer road with kindness and finality. Scarcity. Here is not a tactic, it is a standard, and standards are terrifying to those used to unlimited access. 4. Emotions with edges. She feels in high definition, yet refuses to outsource regulation. Grief becomes policy, anger becomes precision, tenderness becomes discernment. She will not hemorrhage in public, nor make strangers custodians of her inner weather. Instead, she metabolizes, integrates, and returns with language that is lean and limits that are legible. If she says enough, it isn't a flare. It's a boundary already built and tested. People who trade in guilt or spectacle find nothing to hook because her softness is structured and her care is chosen, not compelled. 5. Intimacy with solitude. She does not use company as anesthesia. She goes alone to hear the signal beneath static, walks that lengthen, pages that steady, prayers that clear the glass. She returns from absence, brighter at the edges and narrower in her yes, because stillness audits loyalties and priorities without needing a panel. Love is welcomed, dependency is not. The rare partner who stays learns that presence must add rest, not rescue. Those who need constant proximity to feel real mistake her quiet for distance. It is devotion to the inner life, and it makes her difficult to rush, to rattle, or to reroute. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, say hello, and consider subscribing to our channel. And if you'd like to support our channel further, you can find that in the description. 6. Lunar timekeeping. She refuses the cult of velocity, moving by cycles rather than alarms. She plans for ripeness, not optics. Work is deep when it is timely, not merely timely when it is scheduled. She will decline the podium to protect the well, cancel a glittering room for an hour of unbroken thought, and slow a week to save a year. Urgency culture calls this defiance. Her nervous system calls it fidelity. She bends calendars by refusing to be bent by them, and because she's not sprinting breathless, she arrives whole. And that wholeness alters outcomes more reliably than speed ever has. 7. Unreachable by design. Availability is not identity. She keeps her attention expensive and her access precise. Unanswered messages are not insults, they are choices. She does not audition intimacy or perform transparency on demand. Mystery is not a gambit here, but a filter. The ones meant for her find rest in the intervals. The ones seeking control throw pebbles at a window that isn't theirs. She is not hiding. She is honoring the economics of presence in a world that counterfeits it. 8. The quiet audit. On a cadence the crowd cannot track, she reviews inputs, alliances, ambitions, rituals. She prunes the almost right to safeguard the exactly true. Subscriptions, habits, and micro-commitments are measured against one metric. Does this grow clarity or fog it? And the blade falls without malice. Because drift is a thief disguised as routine, she subtracts to make room for the kind of work and love that require wide tables and long thoughts. People mistake the simplicity for minimalism. It is actually capacity engineering. 9. Influence without theater. She tilts rooms without grabbing mics, asking the unasked question that ventilates the stale premise, refusing a false urgency so better options can catch up, or altering the entire flow simply by removing her bandwidth from dramas that feed on attention. Leadership here is gravity, predictable, quiet, strangely inescapable. The showmen still take bows, but the arc of the meeting bends toward the person who never needed a bow to begin with. 10. Non-reactive boundary enforcement. She does not litigate disrespect at length. She documents it in memory, updates the perimeter, and adjusts contact to match reality. There is no grand jury, just a new rule set. Smaller circles, clearer asks, shorter calls. The relationship may continue, but only at a distance calibrated to the offense. This scale of response feels chilling to those accustomed to second chances as default. To her, it is emotional governance, the art of keeping the commons clean. 11. Selective vulnerability as stewardship. She shares where the container can hold, not where reactions will spike. Disclosures are time to care, not to spectacle. When she opens, it is to knit a bridge, not to purchase sympathy. As a result, her stories travel slowly and lodge deeply. They are gifts, not currencies. Those who equate intimacy with immediate exposure grow restless. Those who understand trust as an architecture exhale and bring their real. 12. Calibration over conquest. She will forgo a winnable fight to preserve a winnable life. Not every hill invites planting a flag. Some invite planting a tree. She chooses leverage over friction, signal over scoreboard. When she refuses to win a room, it is because she intends to win the decade. That long horizon unnerves people addicted to immediate dominance because non-participation in a noisy contest reveals the contest as small. 13. iterative disappearance and return. She vanishes at inflection points to let sediment settle. No announcements, no notes. In the quiet, she rekeys her motives, rescopes her goals, retires identities that paid for past seasons but overcharge the next. When she reappears, the haircut is shorter, the calendar is lighter, the language is cleaner. This cycle is misread as inconsistency. It is, in truth, versioning. 14. Grace as steel. She thanks, she bows, she forgives. But her memory doesn't impute pattern. She will be kind at the door and firm on the latch. People accustomed to exploiting softness bruise themselves on it and call the surface hard. The paradox is the point. Mercy for persons, strictness for systems, and zero tolerance for the entropy that eats at both. These practices are not a costume, they are a cosmology. Sovereignty is quieter than domination. Intimacy begins where safety is non-negotiable. Time compounds when you refuse to squander it on performances. And speech earns power by costing something to say. Where others chase hierarchy, she cultivates harmony. Where others collect eyes, she collects hours. Where others cling, she clears. And because she clears, the right people and projects can finally land. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm your host, Alfred, and I read every comment.